You are Locked On Clippers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well. Welcome into another Locked On Clippers Postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. I'm Pete Fox, covering sports in LA dating back to 2007 for ESPN LA and NBC Sports Radio. I got to be honest, that is not how I saw that one going. I did not think the Clippers had it in them tonight, especially with no back-to-back Kawhi outs. That leaves you with old man Batum starting, old man Harden, who we know is fatigued. We'll get into that in a little bit. Tentative Bogdan Bogdanovich and Dunn and Zoo, who are playing very well right now. Didn't think they had it in them on the second night of a back-to-back the way they've been playing of late, but they definitely got it done tonight, or about to. They're up 122-113 here in the final seconds, and it was all about James Harden tonight. Boy, did he have a night. Absolutely going off, regardless of the fact that he was tired.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Yeah, hasn't been playing great in my opinion. The fact is that he's been important. He's been pivotal to them. He's been a much needed asset, as Brian Seaman, who's a huge fan, points out time and time again. Without James Harden, the Clippers would not be where they are. But at times I feel like he is a liability as well. And, when it's not going like it did tonight, he starts making bad shots. And when you hear the explanation from Ty Lue that, yeah, he's tired, he's worn out, he's an old man. And, some of those shots that are early in the clock and it's Harden dribbling across half court and putting the ball down by his feet and, standing there for a few seconds and then a step back chuck, which is, off the heel of the rim, is probably because he just is out of gas and he needs a breather. Makes a lot of sense. So the fact that he came out tonight on the second night of a back-to-back and did what he did, 50 points, 123-115 the final. Harden, 50. He's 50 years old. He can kick, stretch, and kick. The 50-year-old with 50 points. 14 of 24, 6 threes, 16 of 20 from the free throw line, 5 assists, and just 5 turnovers, a plus-minus of plus 13. Unfortunately, tonight, one of our sponsors is not DoorDash like it was last night. Love to tell you I could get $10 off with Dash Pass because Harden went off for 50. Unfortunately, not one of the sponsors. So huge night for James Harden. The Clippers did a fantastic job tonight of doing a lot of the things that they haven't been doing lately. I hope that they can create some momentum and take away some positive vibes from this game, because when you look at it, it was a hard fought back and forth game. And one of the things I feel like I come away from this game looking at and feeling like the most positive about was they were tenacious and they did a lot of taking what Detroit was giving them, right? They weren't forcing things. They were moving the ball all night long. And more than anything, and this was largely because James Harden was just locked in and going off, they were just penetrating, playing aggressively in the paint, getting to the rim, making things happen. And another big part of it was Ivica Zubac just, making the game look easy. After last night's loss in Phoenix, Ty Lue commented that he was frustrated with the way that one turned out, blowing a 23-point lead. But this game can be easy when you play it that way, when you make it easy, when you play it right, I think was the way he put it. And he's right. And I feel like tonight, that's what they did. They just made it easy. Get the ball to Zoo. And he was making those floaters left, right, and center. one after the other. I mean, he just made it look so easy. And that guy Stewart is a lot. He's a lot to deal with. He's a tough dude. He was bodying him up, banging down there in the low post. It was not easy for Zubac tonight, but he did a fantastic job finishing with 22 and 11. So another fantastic performance from him, coming off a career high last night where he had 35.
This is what you'll be talking about.
You'll be talking about the fact that the Clippers got a win against a very good team on the second night of a back-to-back. I just feel like the scheduling god did them no favors on this schedule tonight, right? Just in general, you have an 8-game road trip and you come home and you don't get a day off, right back to work against a good team. And I know you can't build the schedule around giving someone a game against a bad team on the second night of a back-to-back after an 8-game road trip. That just doesn't work. But, it would have been nice to have a day off, but they will be off tomorrow. And then no rest for the weary as the Knicks are in town on Friday. So the Pistons with 35 wins, of course, we all know about their turnaround, 21 games better this year than they were last year. They've already won more games this year than they did in the last 2 seasons. Cade Cunningham is having a fantastic season and a very, very good player. Once again, a lot to deal with tonight and had a fantastic performance. 37 for him, going 15 of 25. Didn't really have it working from distance. He was 2 of 7 from beyond the arc. Malik Beasley had 4 threes, but on 10 attempts, he was also 5 of 12 from the floor for 14 points. So other than Cade Cunningham and Dennis Schroeder went off from downtown with 5 threes. They said he's had a grand total of 9 as a member of the Pistons. So 5 tonight, nearly doubling his total since joining the Detroit Pistons. So what we'll be talking about here on this one is the Clippers with a much needed win against a good team in a game where they had to fight and battle, and they come out on top. And that's just a good feeling. Plenty of opportunity for them to blow this one and let it slip away and do what they always do, but they didn't. They really played hard all night long. One of our new little features, our new little toys, is the turning point of this game. I don't have my finger on that quite just yet. I'm going to have to think about it for a minute because, they were tied at the half. So it was obviously something that went on in the third quarter. Pretty even third quarter, 34-32 in favor of the Clippers, and Clippers with a big fourth quarter, 32-26. So I'd have to say, I don't know exactly just yet where the turning point of this game is, but all in all, in spite of some things that weren't going their way early, and that had a lot to do with defense, surprisingly, from this team, which we know, third-ranked defense in the league, very good defensively. They were just leaving the paint wide open. Easy buckets, time and time again for the Pistons in the paint. The transition defense, very, very weak. Easy, fast break buckets for the Pistons. But it was all said and done. Points in the paint, fairly even. Pistons win that stat, but only by 2, 62-60 in favor of Detroit. Second chance points, 12 apiece. But the fast break number was just lopsided. Wow, that was ugly. 16-4. Something the Clippers are pretty good at. And normally can keep that number pretty even. But tonight, playing much better half-court defense, unlike last night. So you come away from this game saying, let's build on a lot of those things. And I think having some of the big guys out, the starters, the rotational stars of this team, like Kawhi Leonard and Norm Powell not being in there, and the guys that did start winning the game, Batum started, Bogdanovich started, had a nice performance with 23 threes, going 8 of 16 from the floor. And Chris Dunn, another fantastic night playing defense, disrupting, stealing the ball, forcing turnovers. No turnovers himself, 8 points, a plus minus of plus 17, 6 assists and 3 steals. So fantastic effort from Chris Dunn as well. So lots to feel good about. And hopefully these guys can get a little confidence. Hopefully Kawhi Leonard gets back sooner before later. Norm Powell we need back out there. And of course, he's been gone for a couple of nights and I'm forgetting his first name. Jones Jr. What's his first name? Anthony? No, I can't. Derek. Wow, is his bobblehead night tonight? I totally blanked on his name. DJJ out of the game again tonight. Something that was interesting about Norm Powell's injury I want to talk about after the break. It's the Locked On Clippers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. Clippers get 50 from Harden. 50! Kick! Stretch and kick. For those of you who don't know what that is, shame on you. 123-115 the final tonight as the Clippers snap a 3-game skid with this win. Much needed win. Felt good. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Clippers postcast brought to you by OpenPhone. Are you running a small business? If you are, that means you're wearing a lot of hats. You know, you're the marketer. You're probably in there, building widgets or whatever it is you do. Your personal phone obviously has become your business phone, or you have to carry 2 around, which is also not fun. You'll be juggling customer calls all day and night. As your team grows, it becomes impossible to manage everything with just one phone number. That's where OpenPhone comes in. It's the #1 business phone system designed to help you keep your work and personal life separate. It's just $15 a month, the cost of a few coffees. You get complete transparency, visibility, and everything happening with your business phone number. OpenPhone works through an app on your phone or a computer. It integrates with tools like Hubspot and hundreds of others. It's very affordable. Again, $15 right now. OpenPhone is offering 20% off your first 6 months when you get openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. That's OpenPhone.com/LockedOnNBA for 20% off your first 6 months. OpenPhone.com/LockedOnNBA. And if you have existing numbers with other services, OpenPhone will port them over at no extra charge. OpenPhone, check them out. All right, Clippers with a nice win tonight. Back home at Intuit Dome, beating the Detroit Pistons, who'd won 10 of 11. They were red hot coming into this game. So that's another positive factor for the Clippers. 123-115, the final. 50 from James Harden. I thought it was interesting when they talked about, on the bottom line there on the Chiron, they showed that Norm Powell's injury was a hamstring. Last couple of days when he's been out, it's been tendinopathy. Like, how does it go from one thing to the other? Did they not realize in the first place that it was the hamstring? I know they're fairly close right there, but that's kind of weird. The tendon of the knee. And again, tendinopathy, to the best of my knowledge, is a lesser version of tendonitis. But now it's the hamstring. Okay. Well, maybe he re-injured, like he was on his way back and re-injured it or something. But speaking of on his way back, Derek Jones Jr. was practicing today, so he is getting closer, and hopefully we'll get him back sooner before later. Let's get in tonight's bucket list. A lot of James Harden on here. For number 5, Harden had a runner. For what did I write? I don't even know what I wrote there. Oh, at the 4:53 mark of the first, it was his 15th point of the night. At the 4:53 mark of the first, he was just red hot right out of the gates. That made it 21-10. And he also had a couple of threes prior to that. It was fouled twice from beyond the arc in the first quarter. Went 4 of 6 from the line. So he got started right away. I think he had 15 or 18 in the first quarter. He had a couple of threes in the final 2 minutes of the first quarter as well. and just got going right away and was filling it up. So he's feeling it and didn't seem to have any effects of being 35 years old on the second night of a back-to-back. For number 3, Batum had a 3 on a nice pass from James Harden at the 8:56 mark. It made it of the third. It made it 67-66 Clippers. For number 2, Chris Dunn hit a 3. It was his first basket of the night at the 7:11 mark of the third to make it a 1-point lead for the Clippers, 72-71. And then a couple of minutes later, he had another one at the 5:04 mark to make it 82-76. And then Bogdanovich for number 1 with a pair of threes, a catch and shoot at the 6:53 mark to give the Clippers a 1-point lead and eclipse the century mark, 199 at that point. And then like 30 seconds later, 6:23 mark, another 3, 103.99. That's what we need from Bogdanovich. He has to be better. I have not been terribly critical of him because I feel like when he's on the floor, it's good for the Clippers. It's a good look for them because he moves the ball. He moves away from the ball. He can shoot. We know he's capable of it, but he hasn't been good. He has been very tentative. Everyone's talking about it. And, you know, I've seen it, but I don't feel like it's an epidemic just yet. I feel like at times he's tentative and afraid to shoot, but other times he's not. Tonight, we didn't see that hardly at all, which was good. So hopefully that's behind him. We can sit here and complain about what's happened in the past, a new player on a new team, trying to figure out the offense. Obviously, that's challenging, especially when you're coming off the bench. He started tonight, but normally he's coming off the bench trying to, you know, figure out the rotations and so forth. So, you know, as a starter tonight, a little bit more rope, a little bit more line, a little bit more leeway, and he took advantage of that. Again, 39 minutes, 8 of 16, 3 of 6 from beyond the arc for 23 points, and plus minus of plus 17, just 3 turnovers to go with 3 assists and 3 rebounds. So really nice performance from him, and it is needed, especially with Norm out. The offense has got to pick it up. That's been a big problem. Look, the defense we know can play, but there are times when it's not enough. You can't just stop the opposition. You have to turn defense into offense, and that's when the Clippers have been at their best. When things have been going their way is when they are turning defense into offense and getting easy, fast break points. Tonight, the defense was there in the fourth quarter. So that's where I'm going to say my turning point of the game is.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
So the game was tied at the break. Coming out of the fourth quarter, or out of the third quarter, rather, the Clippers had a 2-point advantage, 34-32. And then the fourth quarter, they took what was available to them. Again, I feel like that was a good game plan for them. Get the ball to Zoo a lot. Let Zoo do his thing in the paint. And that's what he did. Had a very nice fourth quarter. The energy to me was much better in the fourth quarter. All the way across the board, both sides of the ball. Better defense, better offense, moving the ball, scoring, getting steals, getting turnovers. Everything just jumped up a notch in the fourth. And you could also say the same thing was true for the Pistons. Things jumped up for them as well. The Clippers kept fighting. They were getting stops. Chris Dunn with a big steal. Harden hit a big 3 at the 4-minute mark. It was huge. So they kept playing. Again, I don't know if you missed the headline or not, but Harden with 50 tonight. So a big win for the Clippers. You come away from this one feeling like, thank you. Thankfully, you know, it's about time they win one by playing well. And not a cruise against a bad team. You know, they fought the entire 48 minutes. There were some times when it didn't look good. The transition defense was weak. The paint defense was weak. But in the end, they equaled things out. Again, it was a 2-point differential, points in the paint. Pistons 62, Clippers 60. So they got it back on track and took advantage of Zubac just being red hot with that floater. Get the ball to Zoo. Get easy buckets. Make the game easy. Don't make it too hard. There's no point in that. So they did that. And, hopefully it's kind of an awakening for them, an eye-opening experience. I feel a little less discouraged that they have no hope of doing anything in the postseason because you see that they're capable of it. Now, they come out on Friday. If they get smoked by the Knicks, we're going to be right back to being frustrated again like we were last night. How quickly things change, right? Last night, they played well for 3 quarters and then fall apart in the fourth. Tonight, a pretty complete game. So you can look at it this way. Of the last 8 quarters, 7 of them have been pretty good. Let's hope they can keep it rolling against the Knicks, which is Friday night, 123, 115, the final tonight. Win number 33 for the Clippers versus 29 losses. They are 20-10 at Intuit Dome. After the break, we'll talk about the standings, and we will also get into the bench play. It's the Locked On Clippers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. And thank you for letting us be your source for your team every day. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Clippers postcast also brought to you by BetterHelp. BetterHelp. Who is your support system? We all need people to lean on, whether it's friends, family, mentors, or professionals. Even the strongest leaders and athletes know that asking for help makes them better. Therapy is one of the best ways to build a strong support system. It's not just for tough times. It helps with setting boundaries, developing coping skills, and becoming the best version of yourself. Therapy isn't just about crisis moments. And that thing about coping, the times that I've had therapy, gone to therapy, and I've done it on BetterHelp, and it's fantastic because you can do it at home on your schedule, and it really does feel like you're there with the person. I've done it in person and on the computer, and in chat, and it's very, very similar. It's not like you're talking on a phone. It's like you're, a one-to-one communication, intimate setting where you get more than just the voice of a person. It works really well. And the fact that you can build it into your schedule is a huge benefit. And if for whatever reason you don't like the counselor you're with, you can choose another one. It's not a big deal. That's what BetterHelp is all about. But the coping skills that you learn is really what is the most beneficial thing that I've found is that when you get into a tough situation, you try to remember back to some of those coping skills. So you can build your own support system with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. All right, Clippers beat the Pistons in LA at Intuit Dome. Second night of a back-to-back after an 8-game roadie. I was surprised that that road trip didn't feel longer. I almost was like, really? It's been 8 games? I felt like it was 5. And then they mentioned over and over again that it was 8. And I was like, wow, that's a lot. Holy cow. The Lakers have moved into the 2 spot. They've won 7 in a row, 8 of their last 10. They are 11 back of the Thunder, tied with the Nuggets at 11 back. Memphis is in the 4 seed, 13 back of the Thunder. Then you got the Rockets at 14 back, the Warriors in the 6th spot at 17 back. Clippers move up half game in front of the Sacramento Kings in the 8th spot, a game behind Minnesota, who's in the 7th spot. Kings at 9 and the Mavericks at 10. So a couple more wins would be good. We could really use that. Get on a nice roll. I don't think we've had that in a while. Can't remember the last time the Clippers have been on a real run. Again, they are back at it on Friday night, 7:30 Intuit Dome with the Knicks in town. That will be fun, no doubt. As for the bench play tonight, after a 50-point performance from James Harden, Cade Cunningham put up 37 in the loss for the Pistons. The bench, though, really in favor of the Pistons most of the night. 31-9 makes 40 for the bench play for the Pistons. The Clippers, not so much, but Amir Coffey was okay. Had 7. Other than that, not a whole lot. Jordan Miller with 2, Drew Eubanks with a pair, and Kobe Brown had 4. But Coffey was perfect from distance, going 1 of 1 from beyond the arc, 3 of 7 from the floor, no turnovers, 2 rebounds, and that'll do it for him. So, when your bench gets worked over like that and you come away with a win, that's a good feeling. Let's be honest, it was because James Harden went off and was locked in tonight. Like we wish he was more often. I just wish that when he's not dialed up like he was tonight, he realizes it and says, all right, I'm going to find other ways to score, or I'm going to distribute more. I'm going to find the other hot guy and stop trying to draw fouls all the time, or penetrate more. And I know that takes more energy, and he's old and tired, and sometimes he's not up for that, clearly. But he's a gamer, man. He wants to be out there, and you have to give him a huge amount of credit for that. He's not one of these other guys who will remain nameless that may or may not be injured. I'm not going to say who I think that could be, but you probably know. 123-115 the final. That's going to do it for tonight's Locked On Clippers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching again. Back at it on Friday after the Knicks are in town at Intuit Dome. Join me then right here on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a good night. We will talk on Friday.